What is up, boys? My name is Beret, and I am a firm believer in the fact that aim training is useless, worthless, a waste of time even. And I said as much in a video where I answered a couple of questions that my viewers sent in. Now, there's this one man who left a comment on that video harshly disagreeing with me. Now, I could do what any normal person would do, and that is delete the comment and go on with my day, or respond to it, pin it, whatever. But I thought to go a step further. Because this guy is a fellow content creator by the name of Corey, I decided to have a friendly little debate. And obviously, there's no beef between us. I don't hate him. He probably doesn't hate me. But we do disagree on the idea of aim training in terms of its value for the average Valorant player and the good Valorant player aspiring to be a professional player. So that's what this video is. In this video, me and him will be doing a friendly debate on the topic of aim training. He made some great points. I think I made some pretty solid points as well. And I urge you to come to your own conclusion. I'm not trying to sway you either way, even though I am the person hosting it, and thus there's a bit of bias. But yeah, there's that. With all that being said, enjoy the debate. So why don't you introduce yourself in case people don't know who you are?
I'm Corey. I make videos on Valorant and aim training, and I have 500 hours in deathmatches and probably 700 hours in aim trainers, and I'm Immortal too.
For those watching the video, this debate is going to be about aim training and the value of it in terms of how fast you'll improve and how efficiently you'll improve for the average Valorant player, the casual Valorant player, and then the aspiring pro. So I think we'll attack it from 3 angles.
Okay.
First off, let's just start off with the casual player who works a 9 to 5 and comes home and plays the game for like an hour every day. What are your thoughts on how much, if any, that person should spend outside of Valorant aim training?
So for the average person, I would not recommend any time spent in Kovacs or aim labs, just because like the average person is pretty busy, and if they're not like taking Valorant seriously, I don't think it's worth like putting in such a large percentage of your playtime. Because like even if you're an average person with 2 hours a day, almost all of those 2 hours should go into like maybe like a 5 minutes in the range. You queue into a deathmatch, you get 10 kills, and you leave early, and I think all of the rest should be in comp. But yeah, if you're just playing for fun, you shouldn't be aim training unless you find it really enjoyable. But then it gets super annoying because you'd have to like split it up, like 1 day aim training and 1 day comp.
That makes sense. We 100% agree on that point. And by average Valorant player, I mean someone who's about gold rank. I would say a pretty important distinction to make is if you're below gold, you should spend quite a bit of your time working on mechanics, not necessarily aim training, but spending more time in the range and deathmatch so that you can learn the mechanics of the game, which is the big 3: aim, movement, crosshair placement. And then once you hit gold, then that's when you can start focusing more strategy and not worrying about aim training. So would you say that we agree mostly on like that point there?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty much 100%.
Perfect. All right, now to the meat of the discussion, the person who's hard stuck diamond trying to get to Immortal. How much aim training do you think that they should do outside of just normal range warm-ups and deathmatch?
All right, if they have like a lot of time, they should be spending
hypothetically like 3 to 4 hours per play session.
Okay, then they should be spending like the first 30 minutes to an hour on like an actual aim trainer, and this is just like, or at least like training mechanics, so it could be on the aim trainer or on death matches, but like 30 minutes to an hour just on the mechanics for their first part of their session. Or you know, they could do it later. A lot of people like, you know, they always come after me because I do my mechanics training before or like in between play sessions. Like, it just doesn't matter.
But hold on, boys, before we get into the rest of this video, allow me to fulfill a contractual obligation. This video is sponsored by Eldorado.gg, a longtime friend and sponsor of the channel, and really it is for a great reason. Eldorado.gg is a place where you can get your online goods for an extraordinarily good price. Every seller is verified, and every single order is protected by Eldorado's own trade shield, ensuring that you get exactly what you're looking for at the same great price. Eldorado has blazing fast 24/7 live support that can answer any possible question that you can have, and they have a money-back guarantee. If anything that you order from them is not up to your satisfaction, they offer full refunds, no questions asked. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at their Trustpilot. With so many glowing reviews, you would be remiss not to at least go check them out. And if you do want to check them out, I have an exclusive link in my description where you can get whatever you want at a great discount. Everything from Valorant gift cards to YouTube Premium subscription. Thank you so much to Eldorado GG for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it.
Yes, they should spend at least like a good 20 to 25% on their mechanics, and they'll rank up really fast if they do that.
So the next point on this is, I think a common misconception about the aim and mechanics versus strategy and set play angle of Valorant is a lot of people think that Valorant is 50-50, where half of the importance of Valorant comes from aim, movement, crosshair placement, and mechanical skill, and then the other half of it is strategy. I don't think that's true, but I think the ratio is, where we are going to disagree. But what's your ratio on it? What percentage of Valorant when you're diamond trying to get to Immortal is aim, and what percentage of it is mechanical skill and planning in just the average ranked game?
I think it could go from 50 to 65 in favor of mechanics. The reason I say this is, when I think of mechanics, I'm actually thinking of fundamentals. So this includes your movement, crosshair placement, gun control, aim, but also things like your positioning and general intuition with timings. I feel like it's really important to separate micro and macro when it comes to this sort of discussion, because I think you could get Immortal without any macro. You have no idea when you should rotate. You can, be like a monkey, hit the site. But if you have really good micro and you know how to win, basically put yourself in positions where you can get more kills for your team, in general, you'll be fine.
Okay.
So that's what I'd say. The micro and how you approach gunfights and get multi kills is really important compared to macro and strategy.
Yeah, makes sense. But I think there's a bit of a disconnect, because when I think of micro and macro, I think I have slightly different definitions of it. Micro, in my opinion, is what you yourself are doing, and macro is looking at the game big picture. What's your entire team doing? So an example of micro would be, I'm gonna go for a flank this round, and that's just me. I don't have to worry about any of my teammates. But a macro decision would be, hey, I have a read that their sentinel is going to set up B, let's go A this round. So I think our definitions of micro and macro kind of differ a little bit. So for the conversation going forward, which definitions do we want to go with?
For me, micro is, what you're doing, and macro is the big picture. So I feel we have the same definition.
Sure.
Big picture. One thing I will say though is, if I'm doing a lurk, that's definitely, I feel a macro decision, because I definitely will call for my team to come back to me, or I'll be this is the space I'm taking, and here's how you guys should play around it. So I feel that is kind of macro.
I see.
But yeah, that's the definition I'm using. Micro is what you're doing, and basically your tunnel vision. You have no idea what the game state's going on. Yeah, makes
sense. The focus of this discussion is mainly just on micro, right? Because I specialize in solo queue ranked, so my entire perspective is, you don't have a duo, you don't have a consistent team to work off of. You just have to work out of stuff that's consistently working for you. So I think we can just throw macro out of the equation here for now. We just have to focus on individual micro stuff. So I think that was a good distinction to make. Where I do disagree is back to the original point of importance. I actually think that strategy trumps mechanics about 70-30. But the reason why I think that is, it's in terms of consistency. Mechanics inherently are pretty inconsistent because there's a lot of outside factors that can affect how good your aim is that day. However, in terms of strategy, no matter if you had a bad quesadilla that morning, if your strategy is sound, your strategy will always be sound. And there aren't a lot of outside factors that can really affect it. And I think consistency is key, specifically in solo queue ranked. But Dana, what are your thoughts?
For me, I've found that strategy relies a lot on your teammates and their willingness to comply with your calls. So that's why I've found the most gains for mechanics. And I'm someone that's solo queued from Ascendant to Immortal to fairly recently. This is my ranked experience. It's been really hard, because I feel if I'm trying to apply strategy or things that I've learned, obviously I'm not a only aim type of player. I have strategy, but I found my aim will fail me less than my strategy, because I'll make calls and it's like it goes in their ears and out the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like more talking about IGLing and strat calling. I'm talking about personal strategy, like knowing
like
when to play an
personal?
off angle, knowing when to go for a flank, knowing when to go for a left wing routine.
I think your mechanics are useless without that. Well, that's very important.
Good.
Because
Yes.
a big reason like you'll see players frag out isn't because of their like actual raw aim and like crosshair placement. It's like timing is almost like the same as that.
Yeah.
Timing and even just like a peak, like it goes pretty deep, so I'm not gonna go too into it, but like you should also be like thinking like literally where their crosshair is and like thinking about how you should peak based off that. Like
Sort of like a phrase or like motto that I use is aim is a tool, not a play style. So I'm sort of coming at this entire debate from, I think, a pretty unique perspective, because in case you don't know, or in case anyone watching the video doesn't know, I have carpal tunnel in both of my wrists. I cannot aim to save my life. I can't do it.
Down.
And because of that, I have not been in high elo for about 2 years now. I just can't do it. So my strategy is very sound. I study the game a lot, but I am almost physically incapable of aiming, and I believe that has stopped me from reaching high elo. The highest I've gotten recently is like ascendant, which is definitely not even near my peak of radiant, but that was like way back episode 4, and I got radiant before I got carpal tunnel. So I don't think mechanics is completely useless. I think it is very important because Valorant is a tactical shooter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm of the opinion that I don't think it's more important than strategy, because I'm a coach, and in my experience with my students, I have a lot of students who think their aim and mechanics is the problem, and I can't really help them with their aim and mechanics because I can't help my own aim and mechanics. So my coaching is entirely strategical, and every single one of my students, by fixing their strategy, have gotten past the ranks they were stuck in. There was a guy who was stuck in bronze, he got to gold, that was his goal. There was a guy who was in platinum, he got to immortal within a month, just focusing strategy, not a single bit of aim. I've gotten 4 students to immortal, just hard focusing strategy. I've gotten like 4 or 5 to ascendant, and I've gotten a lot of people out of the ranks they were stuck in. So from firsthand experience, of those like 10-15 students that I mentioned, I would say like 7 of them thought that mechanics were their issue when it just wasn't. So that sort of leads to the question of what percentage of players do you think lapses in mechanics are their main issue versus a percentage of players who think whose lapses in strategy is their main issue?
Because the average player,
let's
it
say
would have to be, it would have to definitely be like Heartstuck Diamond players are very stupid. So it'd have to be their strategy, because the amount of times you in Diamond you call for a default and like 3 people are dead within the next 10 seconds is like, it's actually more rounds than probably like successful defaults. Like
that makes sense.
And also like you'll find people wasting a lot of time. So I think like I'd rather have people that just knew how to think than like shoot their gun. Like you'll see people with good mechanics in Diamond, but you'll see so many like those same people with good mechanics are like there's something keeping them back in there, which is very apparent.
That makes sense. Let's widen the ranked scope a little bit. At what rank do you think there's a swap? Because we've established, because I do agree with you, for like more than half of the players, strategy is their issue and not mechanics. At what rank do you think the majority of players who need strategy versus need mechanics sort of swaps?
I think it's literally Diamond. So like at Plat, you see all these Plat players that are hard stuck, and you look at their gameplay and they're like aiming at the feet, or like they don't have like good mechanics. And then like literally if they played just a little deathmatch every day, if they just trained their mechanics like seriously, they'd get out of Platinum really fast. But then it's Diamond, you start to see where like you can have good mechanics, but the other team will kind of like outsmart you or like counter strat you, and you're just too focused on mechanics and you have no idea what to do when like your one play that always works stops working.
That makes sense. For the next bit of the discussion, I think I want to break down mechanics, because I think we both agree the big 3 of Valorant mechanics is aim, movement, crosshair placement, right?
Yeah.
In terms of importance, where would you rank them? Like, which is the most important, which is second, which is third?
Movement and crosshair placement, they go hand in hand. If I could, I'd put them both in one, but I'll definitely put crosshair placement at 1, because I'd rather you like have perfect crosshair placement but like shift walk everywhere, and then I'd have movement 2 and aim at 3.
I actually slightly disagree. I think movement is the most important in Valorant.
Yeah.
Reason being, I think making yourself a difficult target to hit with like, you know, good strafes, good peaks, and I think that crosshair placement really does help with that, because if you have good crosshair placement, you're just going to have to micro adjust, and aim is like the micro adjustment. So my ranking is movement, crosshair placement, and then aim, just because I think that making yourself a difficult target to hit makes lapses in aim more manageable. And since this discussion is sort of around using external aim trainers in Valorant, let's just focus in on the aim part of it, forgetting movement, forgetting crosshair placement. Because my stance is you can learn everything you need to know about Valorant playing Valorant, and I don't think external aim trainers are worth it except for niche scenarios. And I know for a fact that you disagree with that. So just focusing on pure mouse control, why do you think that is important enough to put a whole hour out of a 4-hour session into?
Yeah, mouse control, I would say, like, out of your mechanics training, I wouldn't actually say a whole hour. I would say around half of your mechanics should be in the aim trainer, because I used to do like an hour and then like I'd play 10 death matches after. But like no but if we're being real, out of that hour, 30 minutes should be in the aim trainer. And the reason I think that this is worth it is because there's a lot of categories to aim that you wouldn't normally be able to do in Valorant. You can probably mock up something in the range to be kind of similar. And I think, yeah, if you're trying to have fun and you're just a casual player, especially with the time constraint, that's what you should do. But if you're trying to take it seriously and like reach the highest levels as fast as possible and also improve as efficiently as possible, things like smoothness and control, as well as like reactive things. So you could pull up a Maddie Overwatch VOD, you'll see like this sort of ball, and it's changing directions fast. And this is like, it's a super underrated thing that you could never have anything similar in Valorant. There's also other things like speed target switching, which you can kind of do in the range, but I would like to develop actual speed and accuracy with that speed. I've just found that aim trainers are really helpful. I'll say there are like a couple categories that you could exclude completely, but I think just having a balance and having like overall control over your mouse arm is pretty important when you're playing.
All right. Now, with that in mind, what percent of all the things you just mentioned actually account for importance of Valorant games? So back to the percentage, right? You said that it's about like a 65% aim, 45% strategy, right?
Yeah.
Of that 65%, what percentage of that is accounted for by the stuff that you can get from external aim trainers?
That's a crazy question. So I guess I would say like aim itself is maybe like, okay, honestly, crosshair placement, like that's a good, we could give it like a good like 40 on aim and crosshair placement. I mean, not aim and crosshair placement movement. So that's 20%. I'd say it's literally the last 10% in aim. So like, yeah, you could get out of the 20% of mechanics that's aim, I'd say maybe 10 or 5%, and like 5 to 10%. So it is really like, it depends who you ask if that 5 to 10% is significant.
Humor me here for a little bit. In the past 100 Valorant games that you've played, how many jets have you shot out of the air? How many raises have you shot out mid-satchel? How many neons have you shot sliding? In the past 100 games, rough estimate, ballpark. How many?
Yeah, probably like okay. For like specifically the abilities, probably like 10 or something. Like it's very low. Like maybe even 5. But
and I'm not limiting it to just those ages, by the way. Just any scenario in game where you would need to practice the stuff outside of external aim trainers. So we can say like shooting a chamber before he teleports away instantly or something like that.
Okay, then that's probably different because it probably is at least like once a game. But on maps with a lot of verticality, it's even more.
Okay, so I'll limit it.
I would say, I would say literally like, I don't know.
For the sake of the argument, I'll just limit it to movement abilities.
Yeah, okay. Then movement abilities, it would be like 10 total. Yeah. But if we're talking about like situations where the external aim trainer is like the only people who played that would get it consistently, it'd have to be like 50 to even like 70. Because pretty much every game I play on Haven, I don't know, maybe it's just my rank, but people jump out of heaven and the tracking necessary to kill them, or like a jet will dash out of heaven, and the tracking or reactivity necessary to get these kills, or at least like get them as smoothly as I do, because I guess like they'd die anyways, but I just get like I track them really smoothly. Like I don't know, bro.
That makes sense. Yeah. This entire like chunk of the discussion has all been from the perspective of someone who's hard stuck diamond trying to get to immortal, average player, not trying to go pro, right? So like with all the stuff that we discussed, do you still think that external aim trainers are worth it for that person versus working on movement and crosshair placement and the strategy, which is all stuff within Valorant? Do you think it's worth the person's time?
For the Diamond player?
Yeah, for the Diamond player. This entire discussion has been from the perspective of someone who's Diamond trying to hit Immortal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, like, if you're Diamond, you want to remove all external aim training. I wouldn't say it, like, again, depends on the player. Maybe for the average person fucking hates clicking dots. Like, if I was, like, normal, like, I'd also hate clicking dots because it's weird.
For the sake of the hypothetical, this is a automaton, a robot, a robot, a completely unfeeling being who is not influenced by emotion or fun entirely, looking entirely objectively. We're removing emotion and fun out of the equation.
Okay, if it's the same hours, then I would still have this person on 15 to 25% of their playtime on the aim trainer, just because that overall, like, basically once you have that, like, okay, you have an hour a day for mechanics, the 15 minutes doing something different will basically, like, 15 to 20 minutes of doing something different on the aim trainer will be, like, spending that on the same thing you've been doing for the other 40 minutes will just have diminishing returns. So you have that extra 20 minutes focusing on raw aim, and then the other 40 minutes focusing on incorporating that, but also, like, having good movement and good cross replacement. That player will just be better than the other player who's spending the full hour on deathmatches. I think, yeah, it does balance out. If you just put that same thing in deathmatch, it'll have a pretty similar effect. So, but if you are a robot, you'll have a cleaner quality to your aim that'll get you kills more efficiently. Like, you'll get the same kills probably as the other person who spent the 20 minutes on deathmatch, but you'll get it more efficiently with, like, less bullets and less wasted movements.
That's it.
Yeah, no, if you're actually being like a brain dead aim trainer and you're only looking at, like, your scores and you're spamming deathmatch without, like, every death thinking about what you could be doing better, then you're gonna like, it's gonna be so bad. Because, like, yes, your mechanics will help you rank up, but then your brain will be stuck in your previous rank, and that's where it's, like, bad. It gets so bad there.
All right. Honestly, I think we're a good spot on that topic. Now let's go to the second half of it, where I think we will agree more, which is someone who is already high Immortal Radiant trying to go pro. How valuable is aim training in there? Give your position on it, and then I'll give my position on it, and then we discuss after that.
Okay. So if you're actually, like, this ELO trying to go pro, I mean, everyone already has good mechanics. You could try to, it depends, like, maybe you have, like, a crazy dream, you enjoy aim training, and yeah, like, you want to become, like, a very mechanical player, so that you aim train.
Yep.
Yeah, like, sure, good enough. Then I'd see, like, okay, fair enough. If you're just trying to, like actually go pro though, like, you don't have, like, crazy dreams of being mechanical, you just want to go pro, then I'd say there's a lot more. It could be good for maybe off days if you don't want to queue ranked. In general, I'd say it won't have a huge effect on, like, if you go pro or not. But then again, like, if you have to mechanics train anyways, like, because, like, there are pros, and this is kind of like this is recency bias, because I just did a video on Kane Zera. That guy never deathmatched, never aim trained. Like his deathmatch hours is like 10th of mine. So, and he's never touched an aim trainer, maybe 30 minutes in his whole life. So this is recency bias for sure. But I will say, if you're trying to actually compete tier 2, tier 1, most important, spam queue ranks, get top 10. Not just that, but also, like, network on Twitter. Like, aim training, it will help. And if you're mechanics training, if you're, like, the type of pro that mechanics training is at all, like, you do an hour a day of just deathmatch, aim training will help you, and you shouldn't neglect it. But if you're the type of pro, if you're the Kane Zera type of pro, then no, you shouldn't start adding on to that, because yeah, it's just more effective to just play ranked. And also, it's like ranked is literally networking, which is like a whole different topic, but like networking is for tier 1, like, it's just
it's a whole different topic. I think that actually going pro tier 2, tier 1 is a whole involved process of itself, and there's been a lot of, like, videos that could do way better than I ever could talking about the road to actually becoming pro. I'm talking more about putting your gameplay at a professional level, like putting yourself at the level where if a pro team were to pick you up, you wouldn't break a sweat. So someone like Tens, right? Tens is not pro right now. He's not in a pro team. but he could get picked up by any pro team and he would be fine. I'm talking getting your mechanics at the level where if a pro team were to pick you up, you'd be good. Not really mechanics,
Yeah.
but getting your gameplay to the point. I'm of the opinion that at the highest level of the game, strategy is the difference maker and not mechanics.
Really, I feel like you learn strategy, but like mechanics is something like you actually you like, what's it called? Strategy will come like kind of naturally. Like you watch your games, you're in your review at the scrims or whatever. You have your coach, but then the coach is not gonna, like, he's not gonna make you train mechanics. So this is where I'm looking at. And also, if you're doing something wrong strategically in VODs, like if you're actually scrimming, which, yeah, you should, like, if you're trying to go pro, you'd be scrimming. Like, again, if you're just trying to improve at ranked, I think ranked is so much more fun when you're tapping heads and you're tapping heads cleanly. So that's why I would be aim training if you're trying to hit like Radiant. But if you're trying to actually go pro and you're Immortal 3 Radiant already, then that's where I'd like, it depends, because there are Radiants out there that aren't like, don't have the allocated mechanics training time, and I wouldn't ever add that to their schedule, because I feel like unless they're at FNS or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I
FNS
actually
catching
wouldn't.
strays constantly.
No, I would never add that to their schedule. Like if you look at like even if Kane Zero didn't have his crazy mechanics and he just only had his game sense, I still wouldn't like add mechanics training to his like rank spam schedule. I think ranked is like super good reps for that. But then again, I'm like Immortal 2. Like I don't know anything about going pro or anything.
Yeah.
But all I know is like,
yeah, I've never been close.
if you're trying to go, yeah, if you're trying to go Radiant, I think it could be helpful. Like it is helpful for me.
Sure, yeah. But I'm talking about at the highest level of the game, I think everyone has very similar mechanical skill, right? Like,
Yeah.
like if you're playing in a top 10 Radiant lobby, I don't think you can really say that this person has better mechanics than this person, unless it's like, you know, Eggster versus Prime Ye or something. Obviously, Prime Ye is going to have better mechanics, but I'm talking like 98% of the games. So the difference maker there is strategy. And if you look at really any professional match, okay, think about any of the crazy clips that have come out of recent VCT. I'm not talking about old VCT, because if we're talking about like old VCT where the game was less developed, it was just whoever has the better mechanics wins. But since the game is very developed nowadays, I think that most of the crazy plays that a lot of people would chalk up to mechanics is all about the strategy 30 seconds before that play, putting themselves in the position to let their game shine. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, maybe, yeah, a big percentage maybe, but you also have to think about how mechanics can make something that's like you should have lost that into like a winning round. So maybe the biggest example of this would be the Deagle, like that gun.
Oh yeah.
If you're winning thrifties based off of like a Deagle, you can pretty much say like, yeah, maybe someone hit a nice blind, but this guy has good mechanics. Like he's nice with it, and he got that round.
Yeah.
Like, he killed 2 with rifles with his Deagle. I think aim training and stuff, like, it's really helpful, especially in those situations.
Oh, yeah.
Cause like it's so hard to train that specific. Like the Deagle, you play Deagles in death matches, people do not move like they do in ranked. So external aim trainers are just like super efficient reps for that specific thing.
And that is where I do agree. I think if you are high Radiant or like high Immortal trying to go pro, I think at that point you need to use external aim trainers just to give yourself the leg up on all the people who don't, right?
I would say it depends, because like there's literally Radiants that, or like tier 2 pros that have never, like, they don't DM, they don't play aim trainers, and they just spam ranked. And at that point I would be like, okay, like, I think you're good, like, I'm not gonna mess with that. But then if you are a pro that has mechanics training, why are you not just like getting the extra gains from aim training? Like, for like literally it's as simple as like, if you're playing deathmatch for an hour, just like put 15 minutes of that into the aim trainer, and it's like actually a huge difference.
Yeah, again, I think our positions align more with like the professional or like the aspiring pro, because most of the stuff here I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah,
so
I will say though, like aim training for me at least, it's like the opposite of you. Like I find like it helps the most when you're trying to get to like this ascendant Immortal level. That's where I found. But that's like because I just have like a completely different experience than you. I don't know. My main idea is like, I don't think you have to aim chain or not. Like I think like in my comment I told you like I think it's like something like it's the most efficient way to catch up to like one part of like a tier 1 player. So like it's just the most efficient way to get the mouse control of a tier 1 player. But that doesn't mean that you'll get anywhere near them. And also that mouse control can't be utilized without like good positioning, good cross placement and stuff.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. How important is that in the grand scheme of things? And honestly, I think we discussed that pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. Like you have to like before you can even use your mechanics, you have to put yourself in like a position where you don't get insta one tapped.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's just one part. And like as an aspiring pro, I think it is the most effective. Like you should be doing that, but like also there's like plenty of pros that have just never done that. But it is like relatively new in terms of esports. Like esports is like 20-year-old thing, but like aim training has only been around for like 5 hours, and like pretty much the pros that are going pro right now are the ones that have been inspired by like the ones before them that have never aim trained.
Yeah.
So it is just something that we have no idea about. So I do think like in the long term, the percentage of pros that use aim trainers, because I've seen no pro use aim trainers properly right now. It's weird, like because there's plenty of guys in the aim training community that would like be happy to help, and I think like they would see gains. But would this be better than like would it make a huge difference? Probably not, because what makes the players that use their mechanics so like super well, like their crazy aim, is also like we decided earlier, like mechanics is just, you know, cross replacement and movement is more important than your raw aim. And then also I've always considered positioning and like timings as a part of fundamentals. So like that when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to make a huge difference. It's like just something that I think you should be doing if you're already like having super dedicated mechanics training. Like death matches, you should have a little bit of aim training just to like be the most efficient.
But that all makes sense. All right, anyways, any like other questions about like my position on like strategy and stuff? Because I think like, you know, you answered all the questions that I had about your position. Any other stuff for me? Because
I feel like that would be it, because that's the strategy thing, I was like kind of confused, but it's like a different topic. Like I just don't think self-VOD reviews is as effective until you're like
there's a way to do it properly.
Yeah, maybe that's what
I might make a video on how to do that properly, because like
I've like only had it help if I was with a coach, but if I'm doing it on my own, I'm actually just like raging at myself, and it doesn't help.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, well, I think this was good. Shout out your channel, shout out your stuff.
I make videos on Valorant and like study some pros sometimes. Yep.
His links will be in the description. Anyways, this was fun, and like and subscribe. Buy my coaching Metafy. Buy. No, I'm joking. All right, yeah. And that was it for the debate. Again, I really urge you to come to your own conclusion, to listen to both sides, and to try not to be biased either towards me or towards Corey, because chances are there are some Corey viewers on this video. If so, hello. Anyways, with all that being said, this has been Berate, and remember to brush your teeth today, because I think I forgot. I'm gonna go do that, actually. Bye-bye.